guys, welcome to the very first of hopefully many 90 proof bar talks. If I do this right, should be coming right off the back of the training video I did loading a horse. That is a true, real, in real time. That whole session was about 15 minutes of work. It might look fake. I am fully expecting people to not believe that that works, but I am guaranteeing you, and I have done it many times on many different horses, and I'm guaranteeing you that if your horse is in a workable mind frame, you can get them to load into a trailer, not even being close to a trailer, in a matter of minutes. Like, I would say a half hour is about the longest that's going to take you to get done. But now I want to talk a little bit about why it works and how it works, and kind of talk a little bit about why that type of drill is so fundamental to my 90 proof method. So the first thing I want to talk about is understanding the equine mind a little bit. Now they're prey animals. They are afraid for their life most of the time they encounter something new. And the best way this was described to me is to work with horses and think about horses as if everything new to them they think is truly and honestly going to kill them. And when you start to think about obstacles and think about confidence building in that way, it puts a lot of things into perspective. Now, I am not someone who wants to desensitize the horse. I hate the word desensitizing. I think it's overused. I think it's misunderstood. I think a desensitized horse, a dull horse, is not a horse I want to be riding and working with. I want a horse that's sharp, that's accurate, that is in tune with me. And a desensitized horse, you're going to lose a lot of that connection. And I think a lot of the time, people nowadays, I see it over and over and over again, is the common method of, I'm going to shake around this scary thing until they quit reacting and then it's going to disappear. Or I'm going to throw a teddy bear on the back of my horse. Or I'm going to tape streamers and pool noodles to the back of my saddle. I have done all those things. I have, in an attempt to calm down and relax horses. What I find is more times than not, you're just going to shut them down, you're going to overstimulate them, and you are going to teach them to internalize those behaviors. In all honesty, I like a horse that has the ability to react to things. I need a horse to be able to feel like it can express itself when that horse thinks they're in a very dangerous situation. I would, in all honesty, me in that same situation, I would learn to shut down myself. And you see that a lot of times in human to human interaction. People who have been through, abuse situations are typically the ones that internalize their emotions the most. People who are constantly talked over, people who are constantly a punching bag in situations, tend to be the quietest person in the room. And when a conflict happens, they shut down and they internalize. And it's not that they are calm and not affected by situations, it's just that they don't feel comfortable showing it. And that's the same thing you see in a lot of these horses who are being, desensitized in the way that I see it happening a lot of the time. Okay, so that all being said, if we are able to break down the scary thing to very simple, fundamental points and not dwell on them, we're able to get a lot done. So in the sense of trailer loading, you have three main components that are going to scare your horse. The horse we had today, his main thing was claustrophobia. So working with him and getting him through his claustrophobic fears was the biggest hurdle. And it took 30 some seconds. Like, it did not take a long time to get him comfortable and at least moving in a claustrophobic situation. So the biggest reaction we had in that video of him was, number one, the original trailer loading, which I would not start with that. Before I even attempt to load a horse, I am going to go through all these steps. But just for the sake of the video, I did that. But the biggest reaction I had was when he jumped forward a little bit the first time I pushed him into the wall. And that was the biggest reaction. And we ease into that. So the more you lunge that horse into the wall, the closer they're going to come, the more anxious they're going to get, but you keep their feet moving the whole time. I'm not just going to close him in a space and wait until he's comfortable. Then he's just going to shut down. I keep his feet moving, keep his mind thinking. And by the time he's comfortable, then I step in closer and we have that draw and he's able to walk a little bit towards me. So that's the second part there, is forward momentum in the claustrophobic situation. And that's what's going to get a lot of horses. So number one, the claustrophobia. Number two, moving forward through that, knowing that the release is when you come forward. So you see it all the time. A horse goes to trailer load. You think you got it. You think you got it. They poke their head in and they shoot backwards, right? And that's not what we want at all. We want that horse to feel comfortable, feel like the release is coming, and then give that release when they finally step forward and have some impulsion on their own. So step one, you're going to get that horse situated in that claustrophobic situation. Then you're going to encourage that forward movement in that claustrophobic situation, continuing the squeeze, continuing the pinch pressure there. And then finally, you're going to add that step up, which some horses don't care about the claustrophobic. They don't care about the squeeze. They don't care about the forward movement in that. It is the stepping up. It is the, do I trust this object in front of me? And that's where that little block comes. And it's the same color as their dirt. It's very, non-threatening in the arena. But when we put those pieces together and they get comfortable, okay, squeeze is coming, move forward, step up, and you're done. Those three pieces put together, once you wire that in a little bit, you do it 5-6 times, then go right to the trailer, ask him the exact same way, come on, move forward, it's going to squeeze, you're going to step up. And once they do that, and they know that the forward will give them the release, you have a horse that's going to load. Works almost too good. You feel like it's not going to work, but it does. And it's crazy that all of the scary things, all of the confidence building things, you just have to break down to the smallest bite-sized pieces for that horse to understand. And when all three of those situations come up together, that horse will just do the thing you have just taught it to do. And another big piece that I didn't really touch on, and that's a horse I've been working with for a couple weeks now, but another thing I didn't touch on exactly in that video is that those techniques right there would be a perfect time to incorporate some positive reinforcement training. And that's not something I want to push on everyone. I think there are specific methods that work better than others, and it's not something I really care to teach and dwell on because it's something I'm still figuring out for myself and how exactly I want to do it. That being said, if you have a technique of positive reinforcement that works and your horses are not going to get nippy, and that, a way that works in those stressful situations, the positive reinforcement I have found can speed up the process even more. So if you saw in the video, I didn't talk about it, but I did have a treat bag on me, and I think, have a clicker in my hand. Might be hard to see. I wear one as a ring, so it might have been hard to see. But I was prepared for if he did have a blow up or a meltdown, getting him back, I would have used that positive reinforcement tool, which unfortunately, really, really fortunate for the horse, he had a really good experience in that training scenario. Unfortunately for the video, we really didn't have, many teachable moments. He kind of just did it. But once again, that was real training. That was a real session I did with that horse. It was short. And with those flighty, fearful horses, I tend to really keep their training sessions short. I don't want to be working with him for an hour on trailer loading. Okay, so this is getting kind of long. I think that's just about everything. This is the 90 proof method. Talk to you later.